At Vibra Finance, we seek out the hidden gems in cryptocurrency. We will tailor your portfolio to work for you. Are you ready to transition your investments from traditional markets to cryptocurrency? Are your coins staked and earning interest? Are you overwhelmed with all the jargon in crypto? Is your portfolio underperforming and you want to reposition into consistent winning blue chip coins and viable projects? Do you feel like you missed out on DeFi, Metaverse, and NFTs? Here at Vibra Finance, we provide you with the data, skills, and tools you need to stay on top of the digital asset market. Vibra Finance. We are the future of crypto.
And I'm unmuted. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't even realize my mic was muted. Let's see. Was on a awesome spaces. Got a little carried away. Didn't realize it was 9:30, so I'm running a bit late. Had the mic muted, but we are back in action. Let's check out the bubbles for the last week or so, and we should be red. But this dang Pepe. It's meme season right now, and we were just talking on the spaces that how great would it be if Pulse Change came out now and all these people that were degenerating into the memes paying $40 a transaction could do it for free on Pulse Chain. Not free, but you know what I mean. Fractions of a penny. That's what I'm looking forward to. How cool would it be if all of a sudden, you Shiba Inu, if Pulse launched hypothetically, and SHIB on Pulse Chain was twice the price as it was on Ethereum. I think that would create some kind of frenzy of epic proportions. And I don't know. From there, I think the sky is the limit. Looking at the bubbles here, HEX back-to-back green days. Awesome to see. I don't know if that's any indication that people can smell Pulse Chain launch in the air. So the FOMO is back. Not sure what, but I love it. We crossed over 5.5 cents, pushing up towards 6 cents again. And that hopefully we can make that climb up from the top 10 again. We made the climb. We're now number 8. We were up to, I believe, 6th a couple months ago. Well, it'll be awesome to do again, to pass Cardano, XRP, Binance, start flipping all these coins and get up to the number 3 spot where we belong in all of crypto. Once Pulse Chain launches, maybe, some of the shadow banning, some of the page 3 stuff, it'll all just start to disappear. I think Richard will do some awesome social media rounds and when Pulse Chain launches, and the sky is the limit. So checking out this article here, the SEC crackdown was the best thing that ever happened to crypto. To avoid losing the technology benefits, U.S. authorities should carve out venues where financial instruments don't fall into existing categories of securities or derivatives, but can be legally traded. Guys, that's where we're headed for sure. Now we talked about it on stream the other day that the UK, their framework is all coming into place. We saw that A16, the biggest VC firm in the world with assets under management, met with the regulators in the UK to talk about DeFi and to make fair laws. And now you have Binance and Circle chiming in on their framework. So the fact that Europe is going to all of the exchanges, talking to everyone in the industry, that's what I like to see. I don't want to see, the SEC and just their enforcement or action by enforcement. You come in, register, and then get sued. Why can't they meet with CEOs of companies? Why can't they meet with, John Deetons of the world? Just, people that have been in the space. Why can't you meet with Charles Hoskinson and work out fair laws? It just makes no sense. And obviously there's an agenda going on with the banks, with Gary Gensler. We're not going to get into that today, but this tweet right here was kind of eye-opening, to say the least. This right here is a plot of bank failures. So you can see back in 2008, Washington Mutual, $307 billion was the biggest failure back then. Look at the size of these three banks: First Republic, Signature, and Silicon Valley. And so this crisis back here in 2008, Bitcoin was dawned, right? This crisis created Bitcoin out of it. We need to find better money, something that can't be inflated and manipulated. So out of that came Bitcoin. Now look at this mess that's brewing right here. So imagine what's going to come in the next 5, 10, 15 years after these collapses. The last 15 years has been a major shift. In the next 15, the same thing's going to happen. And Gemini needs to be careful, right? The SEC and the United States need to be careful. If they keep this up, these companies are just going to pack up and leave. They're not going to deal with it much longer. And we see now Gemini launches offshore derivatives platform as the Winklevoss twins tire of U.S. crypto quagmire. So this non-U.S. platform to serve 30 countries, including all of the BRICS nations except China, Singapore, Hong Kong, Brazil, the Philippines. I guess India's not in there. If we can't do it in the U.S. right now, this is not going to stop us from bringing it globally. Derivatives trading is massive, guys. It's a massive market. FTX was the one that did it all. They had it all on their platform, and they were in the Bahamas, and I'm pretty sure that's where Gemini launched their platform. It's in the islands down there somewhere. I saw it yesterday. And the same thing too, Coinbase. What did they do? Coinbase has launched a new derivative exchange in Bermuda. A totemic act showing the largest crypto exchange means business when it says U.S. regulations are increasingly non-viable. God, the show is really escalating now. The article is observed from the Node, CoinDesk's daily roundup of most pivotal stories in blockchain. Coinbase's IPO came in 2021 at the expense of every retail investor. When it launched on Link 2, it was $10 a share, and it launched at $360, a 36x for the last people that got in for all the accredited investors. When it hit retail, everybody got wrecked. Everyone that bought the top at $360. They're down now 90%. It's at 70% if it's at $60 around there. So the IPO came at the end of a lengthy diligence process with the SEC, leading many to think that the agency had endorsed its business model. But over the past couple of years, under Gary Gensler's regime, the SEC has found itself at an impasse with the regulator. So this isn't going to change, guys. Gary Gensler has no authority to make any laws. There's the reason why 10 years ago you never saw a Fed meeting. You never saw it was rare. You might have saw a clip on the news, but it was never the entire world is watching Gary Gensler, is watching Congress drill him, or watching Fed Chair Powell come out and look at stats that are months old and try to fix a problem in a rear. It does not work. We have the ability with on-demand liquidity, with instant settlement, to get rid of all fractional reserve banking, and it will happen. It's only a matter of time. This cannot sustain whatsoever. Now, this is only 3 banks right here. And I'm hearing rumors that there's going to be a couple more big collapses and maybe even up to Wells Fargo. I don't think that's possible. I don't see that possible. Honestly, they'll just get bailed out unless they're going to use them as an example and they completely throw them under the bus and just say, man, look at what these guys are doing. It's so bad. They got to go. And it's funny because back in 2008, with the media and everybody, they got the public to beg for a bailout to save the banks. We need to save the banks. We need to save the banks. Now, because of that, the banks have this ego of we're too big to fail. They know they have nothing to worry about. If they do stupid stuff, if they write risky loans, if they manipulate gold, whatever it may be, they don't care because they know, worst case, we'll just pay a fine. It'll be pennies on the dollar. And it's disgusting. But that's the world we live in. And that's the power. This is the power that blockchain, decentralized finance, it brings to the table. It brings trust. It brings trust trustlessly. Well, that's a mouthful right there. What's up, Tin Top? My man, how you doing? Piper wants to run fingers through that hair. Well, you only got a couple more hours, Piper, because this mop is getting cut off. I can't wait till Pulse Chain launches. I couldn't do it. I had to quit. David Lee, my man, appreciate you stopping in. Godfather J6, how you doing? Bobby Hexelrod, how's it going, my man? Lindsay at Viber Finance, hello. Good to see you. Long time no see. So, yeah, guys, this can't sustain. You know, this collapse over here of Washington Mutual and the other banks led to Bitcoin being dawned. This right here is epically bigger. What's it going to lead to? You know, is it going to lead to CBDCs? Is it going to lead to an honest, decentralized system? Time will tell. But this is just criminal what's going on. JP Morgan to acquire troubled First Republic Bank. JP Morgan will take over assets of the troubled bank after seizure by the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. Guys, look at this. JP Morgan will assume all assets of First Republic Bank, including uninsured deposits. They currently have $229 billion in assets, $139 billion in deposits. And I'm almost positive that they paid 15 cents on the dollar for this. As part of the transfer, 84 locations in 8 states will reopen as JP Morgan Chase. All depositors will become part of JP Morgan and have access to their total deposits insured by the FDIC. Apart from the transfer of assets, a loss-sharing agreement was also agreed upon between FDIC and JP Morgan for residential and commercial loans. The losses and recovery of the loans will be split by the FDIC in its capacity as receiver and JP Morgan. So all of this is so criminal, right? If all of the small banks and local medium banks, your local banks that wrote loans like this, these commercial and residential loans to good people, to good businesses that are downsizing, that lost their jobs and are going to have to default on their loans for good reason. Well, all the loans that this bank wrote that were probably junk loans and then repackaged up and sold again as a product, and then JP Morgan comes in and shorts that product on the other end, so they're just making money the whole way through, and it's so bad. It's so bad. Trouble started brewing on April 26th when news about a government receivership surfaced. The bank shares started tanking. Who do you think was shorting the shares? Let me guess. JP Morgan. They joined Silicon Valley Bank and Signature to become the latest U.S. bank to collapse in 2023. So yeah, they didn't mention the price that they paid, but I was told that it was 15 cents on the dollar roughly. So they're just being handed stuff now on a silver platter. And all the assets too that come with it, all of their crypto is now owned under JP Morgan. So what are they going to do with it? They're going to turn around, stake all of it that they can, start earning yield on it, and then once laws are in place, they're going to turn back and sell it to retail as a derivative for God knows what. In a couple of years, I mean, getting these coins right now at absolute rock bottom prices. I mean, just imagine, right now, you just take a snapshot of the top 20 list right here. Anything on here, and then in 2 years from now, these are going to be at astronomical prices compared to them. And too, they're going to also pump them up because once they own big bags of this stuff, they're incentivized to drive the price up on all of them. So guys, that's the goal. The HEX Trust right here. Well, I've been talking about it for months now. This company is leading the way for all the big players to come through. So these guys are licensing, certifications, custodians. They basically built out a platform where you, as a big player, if you're a hedge fund, if you're a pension fund, if you're an insurance fund, any kinds, anything, asset managers, banks, ETFs. I mean, guys, this is the big money. This is the money that's going to take crypto to $3, $5, $10 trillion in the future. That's all waiting on the sidelines right now. Banks, asset managers, ETFs, hedge funds, VC funds, insurance companies, pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, exchanges, brokerage firms, and CBDCs. So they're building out this platform here. So all of these guys here can stake and earn yield. They can access Web3 protocols. They can use DeFi, the access to the metaverse. We're seeing Polygon sign Starbucks, Nike, Adidas. All these companies are signing metaverse deals, but you're not seeing anything from it. You see headlines, they sign these deals, but they need to build out their back ends, and then they need interoperability between them. And that's what this company HEX Trust does. Tailored custody solutions for land from the sandbox, entertainment, digital identity. If it's I know Hedera is working on digital identity, and XRP, there's a company on the XRP ledger that are patenting their technology for digital IDs. Once we have that, we have a digital ID that we all use. You KYC one time, and that allows you access to all of DeFi. And it's private, but it's just like the government will have a database of it, which is fine. It is what it is. That's where we're going inevitably. But this platform here, Web3 changes every facet of the internet, the role companies play, the agency of individuals, and how we preserve our identities across the metaverse. HEX Trust helps companies join this new dynamic landscape in a safe, scalable, and compliant manner. So they have DeFi, they have staking, they have custody. Everything is built in here. And this is, like I said, this is going to bring the big money into crypto. This is going to allow hedge funds to buy land in the sandbox. It's going to allow them to buy Nike's NFTs. It's going to allow them to, go on Pulse Chain and buy whatever they want. They're going to have access to everything that Algorand, Celo, Flare, Hedera, Polkadot, Polygon, Tezos, and these are just recent integrations with them. So I can't find it now, but they have access to 17,000 dApps that they're going to be able to use. So the same stuff that we're doing using DeFi is being built out. That's why there's such a problem right now. That's why they're putting this show on here with regulators. The UK is doing it right now. Binance, Circle, A16, the biggest companies and hedge funds in the world, or VC funds in crypto, are meeting with the UK so they can build out proper framework. I'm sure even, guys from HEX Trust here, I'm sure these guys are reaching out to them. They're all working together to build this stuff out. We're just shown on the media in the United States. We're shown a movie. Honest to God, we're shown a movie on TV. The real world happens, and there's a movie broadcast to us. The craziest thing that I've seen is the Smith-Mundt Act. And I don't care. I'll probably get shadow banned and censored more for this, but I don't care. In 2012, Barack Obama signed the Smith-Mundt Act into law. So what did that do? It allowed the United States, the media here, to show and recreate Hollywood-like events and then report on them as if they were news events without any need to cite sources at all. And if you question where the sources come from or post about it, you get banned from the platforms immediately. So literally, they're allowed to go film a robbery or a bang bang event or something like that, show it on the news as it's an actual event. And that's the same techniques that the CIA had been using in all the foreign countries around the world to overthrow leaders, to start revolutions, to divide the country, to break banking apart, you name it. Gaddafi, look what he did to try to get his country on, backed by his currency, backed by gold off the dollar. We were shown a movie that this guy was this psychopath, rah. And all he was doing was trying to help his people. And now I don't trust anything on the mainstream media. Ever since that went live, or that got signed into law, the Smith-Mundt Act. You got to look it up if you don't believe me. So anything on the news, it can be completely scripted. It can be all actors, and they're allowed to report on it as if it's live. And it's disgusting. So I honestly, I know that these companies, R3, Corda, they're all meeting with regulators to make laws that work for everybody. There's no way. This is just a threat here. Gemini is so small compared to Coinbase and Kraken. So them launching their derivatives platform, it's the perfect story that they can use to push regulators and say, look it, they're going to leave. The poor Winklevis that lost out on Facebook to Mark Zuckerberg. Those poor guys, they're going to leave. Let's help them. The corruption, mind-boggling spirit killed the republic. Exactly, bro. We're not a democracy. We are a republic. And I really hope that the states don't cuck and cave in. I really hope that states stand strong and don't allow this nonsense. We already saw with CBDCs that Florida and Texas are banning them, right? So that's a great start. And just DeSantis is coming out and publicly endorse or publicly being anti-CBDCs. That's amazing to me. That's what we need to see. That's going to be so bullish for Texan. That's great headlines to piggyback of, and why Texit is so important. If you don't come together, if you don't have a movement, if you don't grow strong, look what can happen. These CBDCs can be introduced, which they will be introduced, guys, but it's not going to be what you think. They're going to be wholesale CBDCs that the banks use with each other. So once all this nightmare happens, all these collapses of the small banks, these consolidations happen, they're going to have to guarantee that these banks have on-demand instant liquidity with the Federal Reserve. And that's what CBDCs are going to be for, in my opinion. I think they're going to be wholesale so that these banks can use them for when there's potential runs, when there's whatever happens, whatever narrative, whatever market chaos, black swan event happens, they can use these CBDCs, this programmable, traceable money to prevent, stuff from collapsing. I think that's where we're going. I don't think retail CBDCs will ever work. If they do, it's going to be an offer, right? It'll be with universal basic income, or something will get so bad we beg for it. Just like in 2008, the mass consensus was bail the banks out. We have to save the banks. It's too important. Well, in doing that, now the banks have this notion that we're too big to fail. We can't fail. If we write these bad loans and collapse the whole system, oh well, we'll just get bailed out. And that's the problem. We created, out of 2008, a horrible attitude and a insanely irresponsible government and system. But Bitcoin was also spawned from that. So with the bad, there's the good. Was Bitcoin government created? I don't know. Maybe not. But the principles of it, of decentralized finance, of sound money, that's important. I just found this article here. New York and Berlin tied for second place as most important crypto hub. So how is New York one of the most important crypto hubs when I live in New York. It is the hardest state to do anything crypto wise. We can't use any apps, Bitstamp and Coinbase and Gemini. That's it. We can't use you can't use Bybit. You can't use Upbit, GetBit, with all of them. You can't use Binance US. We can't use anything here. So this is interesting. I don't know. The report anonymously surveyed 68 heads of companies and protocols whose founding members are European in origin or also headquartered in Europe. Despite the survey, estimated that a third of respondents were also portfolio companies. Wait. Lisbon, wow, Portugal as the world's most important crypto hub. All right, shout out Facing Reality. The most commonly cited reasons for championing the Portuguese capital is its strong decentralized finance scene and favorable tax laws. So there you go. New York, I don't understand how New York came out of a European survey, but there you go, guys. Portugal's paving the way right there with their DeFi scene. The UK is following right here with their proposed framework on DeFi. We talked about it yesterday that they're meeting with all the right people. A16, the biggest VC fund in the world. And you don't think that VC funds have coins staked? You don't think they're earning yield from these protocols? You know, I know for a fact they are. If you go to Hedera's website, and you look at their governing council. The governing council here, there's 39 spots, and 28 now are taken up. So you have literally the biggest companies in the world. Swirlds, Standard Bank, Shinhan Bank, ServiceNow, Nomura, Google, IBM, FIS, Ftos, Dell, Chainlink Labs. They are all using staking protocols. All right. It's all of the institutional staking is now live for them. So they need to roll it out, and it needs to be safe and transparent to the public that it's not risky. It's not for criminals. And once that's out there, once it's released to them, we can now look and say, okay, that's how it's done. Then it's going to be released to the public. No, it's not coincidence that all of this got rolled out and laws are in place for it, but not for retail. Around the world, all the stuff that's coming out now is for retail. So they have to introduce it with the big companies, the banks, the institutions, and then it can come out to the small man. The 58 CEOs are all running fake businesses. I mean, bro, I wouldn't be surprised. I would love to see, who this is. I mean, Europe, the last 10 years with their banking system has been a complete nightmare. The biggest trick the devil played was making us believe he didn't exist. The biggest trick New York ever played was making you believe it was no longer run by the mob. Well, Bobby, the best analogy that I've heard for like how the world works is it's basically like 7 or 8 mob crime families fighting for control of the globe and power. And I really don't, I don't know if there's like a script or whatever that everyone's following. I think that when you have narcissistic egomaniacs with a lot of money, they play God. You try to write the script, but eventually when the pendulum swings so out of control, you lose control. And then you have to rewrite the script. So I honestly think that they've lost control, and I don't think this is all by design. I mean, it's by design, but other things happen as a result of that, or a cause from that. I don't know. I'm just drawing a blank at the word here, but yeah, it's criminal what's going on. This cannot sustain. We get a couple more big banks here that go down. I mean, we're already bigger than 08. So let's read actually some of these comments down here. This doesn't count Bear Stearns or Lehman as a bank failure, while they're technically not banks. Wow. Interesting. Having the plot as a percentage of the national and gold GP could be interesting. Wow, this is crazy. Well, I'm not seeing everything in chat, I think. Well, that happens to me all the time. So if you go to the YouTube settings in like the live chat, there's a little button and it says like show all messages or like top messages or something. And that sometimes filters them out too. But our channel is so shadow banned, bro. It's so bad. But I don't care. Like I'll talk. I want to talk. I'm gonna talk about the stuff that's important, like the Smith-Mund Act, right, guys? That's crazy. The media is allowed to report on Hollywood-like events. So they can create movies and go film on them like they're live TV and report it like it just happened. And then we go and we make decisions based on that stuff. It's crazy when you think about it. So just take everything you see with a grain of salt. I mean, seriously. Like, honestly, my new thing is, if I don't know that person or I don't know someone that knows them, I don't trust it anymore. Unless I know someone that can verify it. That's the way I'm starting to approach things. And I find out that, like, when you look around at doctors and all these people that are supposed to be the smartest people that you put up on a pedestal, they really aren't any smarter than us. We've just labeled these people to be something. Society's labeled them to be something. It's the same thing with the dollar. We all have this trust in this dollar. If we all went to the bank to try to get our money out, the system would collapse. And that's a scary thing. So you need to, in my opinion, hedge it, have a little bit of silver, have a little bit of gold, try to grow your own food, try to be self-sufficient. I really can't wait to build Hexico and build a farm that is self-sufficient, that is off the grid as much as possible, where we can grow our own food. I want to have a big, streaming room, a office. So anyone that is struggling, anyone out of a job, anyone that needs help, come stay here. You can live on the farm with us for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. There's no rent. You can stay in the guest house. You just got to help out for a couple weeks, but you have access to all the streaming stuff, anything you want to do till you figure it out. If we could have stuff like that all around the country within 4 to 6 hours of each other, we could have a giant network connecting all throughout the country, and nobody would go hungry. Nobody would suffer, and we don't have to rely on these systems. We don't have to eat toxic food. We don't have to eat poison. We're not forced to send our kids to get brainwashed in public schools. And, I don't want that for the future. I want our kids to go to a school where, the trans stuff is never even mentioned. It's not even in their world, where it's only, the good and the beautiful. That's what we need to build. That's what I'm going to be building. I can't wait for this bull run. I can't wait for Pulse Chain. And, I can't wait for Facing Reality to move over here and join forces, have both of our families on a plot of land, just crushing it. Oh, man, that's the future, is doing our own stuff, not relying on these systems right now, and building our own supply chains. It's completely doable. We have so many Hexicans that, look, Suzanne makes incredible stuff. We have artists. We have people that can build everything. We have it already. And it's just shifting our mindset and somebody just going out and doing it and setting the example so the rest can follow, and showing people that, yes, this can be done. We don't need to rely on this insanity that's going on right now. We can do it better, and we will do it better. So that's what I want. That's what I want to do. It's really been eye-opening looking at food and how much nutrition has fallen out of it in the last 50 to 100 years. America was great. when everybody had basically a farm on their property, grew their own food, was self-sufficient, could fix anything that broke. You know, nowadays, kids can't even tie their own shoes. They honestly, if you go now and walk around and go to like under 10-year-olds and they only can see analog or digital. They cannot read a clock that is not in numbers. It's crazy. So I don't know, you know, in 20 years since I was in school, how did this happen? I remember in high school staring at the clock, watching it spin around hour after hour, just dreaming to get out of there. Like, what did they remove them from classrooms? Like, I just don't even see how it's possible that a 10-year-old can't read a clock. You know, put them in every classroom, put them in front of their faces. Like, it's just mind-boggling to me. So we need to build our own stuff. Like, it's getting so bad, the public schools, that the generations to come are getting just dumber and dumber and dumber. And the stuff that they care, that if they feel is important to them or matters, is like it's pointless. You can't go change the gender of a cat. Pure and simple. You know, it's just so frustrating, but you know, exactly, bro. If you don't control your food source, you don't have jack. 100%, bro. 100% true. Romans asked the same questions, bro. We looking back at like Nero and these guys, they were complete freaks. They were disgusting. Like they would go party on these islands where they had like boys floating around these rafts or whatever. It was just disgusting. And you see why Rome burned. Like when you live on immorality and lies and your system is built up on that, it's only a matter of time before it all collapses. And it is right now. You know, you can't call you can't. Bruce Jenner is never going to be a girl. It doesn't. You could say it all you want, but it's not going to change facts. And we are out of control. The pendulum has swung so far that it's on us now to build our own thing. You know, they're gonna push to collapse the cities, collapse the banking system, so we beg for 15-minute cities, so we don't have to do anything. And that's the worst thing that can come. The worst thing is these 15-minute cities. We are not meant for this stuff. We are meant to be outside, to be, you know, work manually doing stuff, moving around, not stuck in an office behind a screen for 8 hours a day. That's not what we're meant to do, especially kids. You know, 6-year-old can't sit still and learn about whatever, so he has a disease or a disorder. It's crazy. So, well, I'm going to build my own supply chains, or I'm going to try to, facing realities. There he is. Finally, he's going to move over here. He's going to help me get off grid. We're going to have our own well water. We're going to have our own organic food. We're going to have our own compound that anyone can come visit, stay at, and hopefully build their own and grow from there. And Hexico, mark my words, by 2030, Hexico will be up and running, at least our little part of Hexico. So it's going to happen, guys. It really will. We have the people. We have the amazing community. So many different talented people that can do all kinds of different stuff. If we just take these talents and put them to use in the right way, the sky's the limit. Let's go, Marcavelli. Over 5.5 cents. Loving it. Let's go. Let's hold 6 cents as the new floor. Yo, Richard, come on, bro. Put out a good tweet. Put a really, really, really FOMO creating tweet out so we can push over 6 cents and then 7 cents and then make that climb back into the top 3 again. You know, right behind, what's ETH at right now? 227, and we're at 12. So, yeah, 12x. We can do it. We can definitely do it. So, all right, guys, that's all I got for today. Tomorrow morning, Blockchain Monkeys is coming on. So, special guest. Can't wait for that. He's a legend, and he's super into the health stuff too. He makes the sea moss that it's got like 96 of the 120 vitamins and minerals or something that you can take in. So it's like some of the healthiest stuff ever. So he's coming out tomorrow. I know he's into some solo XRP stuff as well. So be back with him. Like, share, subscribe, follow if you are a fan of Hexico, if you're a fan of organic supply chains, organic food, and getting off the grid or off the system, out of 15-minute cities, and doing our own thing. It's possible. It will happen. I will make sure of that. All right, guys. Appreciate the support. See you tomorrow.
At Vibra Finance, we seek out the hidden gems in cryptocurrency. We will tailor your portfolio to work for you. Are you ready to transition your investments from traditional markets to cryptocurrency? Are your coins staked and earning interest? Are you overwhelmed with all the jargon in crypto? Is your portfolio underperforming and you want to reposition into consistent winning blue chip coins and viable projects? Do you feel like you missed out on DeFi, Metaverse, and NFTs? Here at Vibra Finance, we provide you with the data, skills, and tools you need to stay on top of the digital asset market. Vibra Finance, we are the future of crypto.